Welcome to the XrossroadZ Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? It's your man, 100 Grand, your personal agent for change, making life easy, Barzini.
And I'm Fempreneur Extraordinaire and Tech Diva all day, Dre Renee.
And this is the Crossroads, where there's only one rule.
Be free to be you.
Whew.
We made it.
Yeah, we made it. This week, woo. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Just got sound effects, huh?
Yeah. Why don't you tell them what we're talking about this week so you can...
Yeah, well, we're talking about dating after 40. And dating after 40, it requires something different than after 20s and 30s. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, dating, whether you've never been married. Clearly, there are people who are dating after divorce. We even have some that are approaching or in their empty nesting phase. Some people don't date until their kids get to a certain age, and then
some are dating while they're married.
Oh. You're not lying, but I really don't want to give that a platform. That is...
Nah, but I am going to give this cautionary warning because I've seen it and you posted about it.
Oh, oh yeah. Go on and warn the people.
For those of y'all who are on Facebook and you part of these Facebook groups, these groups are not private, y'all. You may not be able to comment because you're not part of the group, but they're advertising groups on the main feed, which is probably how you saw the group in the first place. And you can see people posting in this group,
yes.
The big picture, like, hey, just posting my picture, seeing are people really making matches in this group? Like, bro, y'all sloppy pimping. And it ain't just the dudes.
No, it's not. If you belong to someone else, or they think you belong to them, just know that we can see you.
Yeah. I got Cat Williams in my head. Do you know that we can see you?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say some people they think, I'm in this group, and whoever is not in this group with me, and so I'm safe to say whatever I want. And I'm like, nah, bro.
I just don't understand, with the degree of separation being as small as it is now with social media, that you would just be out here like that. Unless, like, the level of not caring that you
I'm
have
going to
to
say, you just don't care. Yeah.
To be in that
ignorance
group.
And I get it.
Yeah. Your digital footprint stretches for, like, I remember when you can see, I don't know if they still do it, where you can see somebody who liked these certain pages.
Oh yeah.
I remember I had to call my dad one time. They would show
your likes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Or like even on Threads, you can see where you commented on. I don't know if I'm not a Twitter guy, but I've been on Threads more recently.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you're commenting on stuff and people can go look at what you've commented on.
Yeah.
Other stuff.
Yep. Absolutely. I think I wake up at least a few times a week to something you've commented on. I'm like, oh,
okay. So, like, listen, just cautionary tale. You have to be careful of everything you do and say, even if the group isn't public, and you feel it's secure. I had an exchange with somebody in a group one time, and this person went and screenshotted what I was talking about in this group and was posting it on their public page. And I'm like, hey, that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? So, like, even now it's like, nah, I'll say some wild stuff to be funny, but you gotta be real careful.
If it's not something you can repeat or something you want to be seen widely, I think that's the rule.
Especially because nobody cares about context for anything. It's like information travels at the speed of a soundbite or a screenshot, and they're gonna run with whatever narrative that they just naturally project. So it's like, got to be more, or no, not even got to be more careful. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
You know what I'm saying? Do
Don't
not
do
do
it.
it.
Please don't do it. Yeah.
But yeah, so but dating after 40, ugh, it definitely hits different. It definitely hits different. I'm
Yeah. So
like,
what would you say? It's like, is it like the day you turn 40? Or is it just like in my 40s, I've noticed these things
well,
are different?
I took a long time off of dating. I
Mhm.
might have had some folks that I was kicking it with, but I've been single a long time.
So just
And
get back in the
not I've been in and out. It's kind of like, you get in the shallow end of the pool, but you never really just go like you never dunk your head under. Because
mm.
it's like, for me, I often wonder if it's me. Like, I mean, partially, yes, but I'm just like solely me. Like, do I even know how to date anymore? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because it's just not like it was when we were younger. So you remember, I had what I'm a relationship guy. I was, up until recent years, like the last 10 or so years, most of my adult life was spent in relationships. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I didn't have to date, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when you're younger, it's easier just because like your proximity is different, the things that you do and your interests are different. But I think it's the expectations that come with dating, right? and
Mhm.
and the mindset. So social media, which wasn't, a big thing back when we were younger, plays such a huge part now because it shapes so many mindsets and people don't even think, like there's a lot of people that have secondhand angst from other people's dating experiences, and you're responding and reacting to things that ain't never even happened to you.
Mhm.
You know, um, we start to project narratives based on, you know, something that may have happened to us, and then we're telling this other person, like, I saw a post and the lady was on a date, and she was texting, like, she kept texting and said, I guess the guy got irritated and took her phone, right?
Mhm.
And so, she was like, oh, give it back, and he wouldn't give it back. And then she says, I know he was joking, but I started crying. Right? She's like, oh, but I was triggered and I started crying. And then the comments was, oh, he's controlling and da 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 da, and he's this and he's that. And I was just like,
Well, why
she
are
didn't
you
say,
taking somebody else's property though? Like, I mean,
I
I
get,
get it.
yeah,
Like
I get
if
it.
you want
And
her to
I'm,
pay attention, but like,
yeah. And while I'm not excusing the behavior, we we start to intermingle intent and impact, right? While
mhm.
I can acknowledge the impact, people wanted to assign intent, and that's the problem that I had, right?
Okay.
Even if you're joking, you can still have a negative impact. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So, but the only person that was there says, I know he
He
was
was
joking.
joking. Mhm.
Now that's not a joke, and da da da, and
Yeah.
right? Like, what are we doing? And then I personally feel the crying part was emotional manipulation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
one,
I don't know if I would cry, but if she says triggering, I don't know
yeah,
what her
but that part, the
backstory
thing
is.
is, for me, that didn't have relevance to the story, right?
Mhm.
Of I was texting and he took my phone. When you add the I was crying, what that does is exacerbates the he took my phone. And we're completely ignoring that you're out with this person and you're texting, right? So if we took the part where if he never took the phone, and he said something, he mentioned her being on the phone, right? Man, get off your phone before I take it, joking. And then
Mhm.
she cried at that. We would be focusing on what he said.
Mhm.
Oh, that sounds abusive. But even if she states, oh, he was joking, he never did it. He's joking. But again, we want
Mhm.
to assign intent and we forget so it's like things like that where it's like you meet someone, and then now there's just all of these rules that you're
Mhm.
expected to follow. Like,
Mhm.
we live in the age of the dating app. you know Back in the day when dating apps first came out, you on that, oh, you desperate. Now it's
Right.
it's a normal thing, right? But reading these bios, it's just a list of rules. Don't do this and don't do that. And if you're this and if you that, you know, and the dudes
And
do
is
it.
that let me just ask, because
Mhm.
clearly I haven't been on a dating app in quite some time. Is that inclusive of women in their 40s and up, or are we just talking about dating in general? There's
Well,
a lot of
that's
rules.
my age range. So I don't know. I don't, you know, I mean, there's a few, like, I think the lowest that I probably get in my feed would be 38, something like that. Right.
Okay.
So it's
So
genuinely,
women,
yeah.
Xennial women, right?
Mhm.
Gen X and millennial women are creating rules,
Yeah,
setting
and men, because
boundaries.
I got a lot of homegirls. That's so I'm saying women because that's in my feed, but I
Right,
have
right.
lots of homegirls that's saying like
Okay. Men
they're
and
having the
women.
same. Yeah, they're all
This
doing.
is what I want. This is what I'll
Don't do
stand
this if
for.
you're this. If you got this many kids, if they this age, so
Yeah.
you know.
And a part of me would say, right, like if you're
Mhm.
reading that, beyond maybe being annoyed, it can help you decide if it's something's worth your time. Like if
Oh
you
no, it
look at somebody's
definitely
like, I
it
don't want to
helps
date
because,
somebody with kids, and you got kids, and you like, cool, I'm gonna hit the
well, some of it's presentation, but what I'm saying is your a bio is literally about you.
you. Yes.
But I know nothing about you. I know everything you don't want, and I know everything you expect, but I don't know anything about you. Like, I would like to know what dating you brings, right?
Hmm.
What am I going to experience in dating you? That's what I look for in a bio.
Okay, I like it. So for our roadies and road dogs, if you're dating, if you're open to dating, if you're on
Not
a
me, but if you're
dating,
on a date.
if you're on a dating app, if you're on a date right now, hopefully you're not watching us, then you get your
No, I'm
phone
no,
taken.
you know, first of all, if you're on a date right now, keep watching. What you mean?
You gonna get your phone taken if you
Hey, no, y'all watch together.
that actually would be a great date to watch
Yeah.
together. But right, let's do some inventory, right?
Mhm.
Does your bio state more about the other person than it does about you? And also, have you considered whether you've written it or whether you express it, right, to someone that you're dating, what dating you brings? Now, I think that sounds very close to what do you bring to the table?
No, it
Probably
doesn't even
not.
say, it's not close to.
Okay.
Precisely that.
Oh, it is that. Okay.
It's
Okay. So
that,
I was
like,
like,
no,
I was like, it sounds very, very close.
yeah, no, it is. What do you like? What's the ROI? However you want to word it. What do you bring? You know what I mean? Like,
Ooh, child.
and I
I
don't.
bring me.
Yeah,
I don't
but
think I've ever had to answer that question. I don't know if it's for good or bad. In no relationship that I have ever been in
because
has
okay,
somebody
so
ever asked me that.
here's the problem with people like you.
Oh,
Right.
dang.
Yeah, yeah. And several of my homegirls.
You know what?
Y'all
You
speak
better
from
be
a.
glad we are
I know.
thousands of miles
I
apart. But
know.
go ahead. The
No, but no,
problem with me.
just because you my close friends are unicorns that don't have the perspective or lens of what we're experiencing. You don't have to answer that question because you actually bring it. What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all for watching the Crossroads Podcast. Take 1 second, hit that subscribe button, and like the page so you can get alerts for any time we go live or drop new episodes. Hit that subscribe button. Right? It's like, oh, this is you just do. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
you're someone who questions are often answered before they're asked. Right? You're
Okay.
somebody who's communicative, so you're not someone who you all very seldom do you ever have to wonder what you're thinking, right?
But all things being equal, at a scroll, you don't know me, you don't know anybody else. The expectation is to lead with this is what I bring to the
No,
table
no,
versus giving
no, no, no,
somebody
no.
the opportunity.
What I mean is it's not an exhaustive list, but what I'm saying
Mhm.
is if what is the experience of you? Hey, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this kind of person.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, I'm kind, I'm open-minded, I'm adventurous, I
Okay.
enjoy this, right?
Okay.
Those are it
So we're
being
back
with
to a classic bio. So things
classic,
about you,
but
things
there's
that
still
you
things
like,
about
things.
you. So,
Yeah.
but these are things that I can experience versus everything that you hate, right? So, like,
Got
okay,
it.
I'll say on Hinge has prompts. Well, a few of them have prompts, but one prompt is dating me is like,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, oh, dating me is like biting into a warm chocolate chip cookie and you thought it was oatmeal raisin. I don't know, right? People are creative, but there's
Mm-hmm.
certain prompts. Sometimes they land well. Sometimes I think somebody sent me a message and the Hinge flagged it as inappropriate or disrespectful. And
Mm.
I was like, I want to see what she said. It made me want to see it more. And she was being flirty, but it was a creative flirt. It wasn't, she was original. And I can
Mm-hmm.
respect, I wasn't attracted to her, but it was original. She was
Okay.
like, she said something on the lines of, I feel like you would be uncomfortable with me calling you sexy. Prove me wrong. Or change my mind. Something
Oh,
like that,
uh-huh.
right? It's like you want to give this compliment and you don't know if I'm comfortable or not. So let me know if you're comfortable.
If you're
Like
comfortable or
it's
not.
just
Okay.
basically saying, was it okay to say this?
Yeah.
I can respect that. I can respect,
Yeah.
that
That's
was it
cute.
was it was different than like
Right.
you know,
Right.
and just liking is cool, right? But it was something, it was memorable, right? It was complimentary, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but I just happen to not be attracted, right?
Yeah.
So, it happens
Okay.
that way. But
Oh,
yeah, I think it's just the run of the mill. Like, I've seen dudes, if you got more than this many kids or this many baby daddies, right? Certain things you can find out in a conversation, but you only have but so long to pique someone's interest beyond your
mm-hmm.
pictures, right?
Yeah. And I
And
think
go
a
ahead.
lot of times people are trying to, well, of course, when it's on something like Threads or Twitter or Facebook or whatever, you have the dual, right? Like maybe you are putting yourself out there to meet somebody, but you also have other eyes on you. And I think people are
Mm-hmm,
so into trying to impress
mm-hmm.
the masses versus really focusing in on the person that may or may not be for them. But also, would you say like after 40, priorities are different and maybe people are just trying to weed out the
Yeah,
noise and get straight to it. Like, okay, yeah, back in the day, courting or talking or all the different things that, it has been called over the years gave you time to get to know somebody. But do you feel that at a certain age or in this day and age, people are like, look, I don't have time for all that. I don't want to invest my feelings, my money, my time. I just want to
yeah.
know, like, is this going to be maybe not a sure thing because we never
As
know
close
that.
to
But
assurance. They want assurances. And yes, I
yeah,
do think it's that, but I also think it's stupid because what are you doing otherwise? Right? You're still single and you still right, like that's not rushing the process. You're not getting closer to it by being insufferable. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And so that's like, even though you're married, there are things that you still enjoy and desire from your husband that he was doing in the beginning,
Hmm.
right? He doesn't get to now not care for you and do the things that it took for you guys to fall in love and then eventually get married. And the excuse be, well, I'm too old for that now. We older now, right? You see what I'm saying?
That
Like
part.
we too old to buy flowers now. You too old to,
Mm,
right? So the rules don't change, or let me say the process doesn't change because you're older
yeah.
and I'm supposed to adhere to your clock. Absolutely not. Right? And we present as if your desires are the only ones that exist,
Hmm.
and it's this thing where I just realized for me certain things like I say, the standards are BS, right? We say, oh, well, I have standards. Well, what is a standard? A standard ain't nothing but an expectation,
Hmm.
right? And how can you have an expectation of someone you don't know? Now, I'm not talking about just basic human courtesy and decency, right? Oh, they got to do this and they got to do that. And people, people get upset when they say, oh, people do the bare minimum. I'm going to do the bare minimum. You know why? I just met you. I don't know you. You have done nothing to deserve anything beyond the bare minimum, right? As I experience you, whichever direction that goes, then my effort increases.
Yeah.
And my effort typically increases when I see the reciprocation of the effort I'm already giving. Right. So like I was texting with somebody and we only communicated when I text, when I text or call first.
Okay.
Now, while she was responsive when I did, she never initiated communication. That's not something that because you're showing me early, like if you can't do something as simple as initiate communication,
yeah,
this is going to be all me the whole way. So if you don't initiate the small, it's not leading me to believe that you're going to initiate bigger things, right? And it was too early for it to matter or care or have a conversation. So I was just like,
noted.
Right. Now, had we gone further and then I noticed like it changed, yeah, you have a conversation, right? I didn't care. It was like, okay, well, if she want to talk, she'll reach out. I've done the things, we've gone out. I planned that. And I'm sure I'm not the only person you're talking to. So no sweat off your back either. But I just know that I don't mind exerting effort, but I also appreciate effort returned.
Right.
So
understood. Wow. Okay. So, we talked about, kind of maybe feeling a little rusty or maybe just not sure, like, okay,
what do you feed this thing? Like,
yeah, am I aligned with today's version of dating? Of course, just not being enchanted at all with how it goes. Like I, clearly am married, but it makes me so appreciative, like extra, like many times I have to stop, be like, look at this. I'm so glad we're together. Like it seems over the top, but it's like, okay, even the things that, maybe I want to talk about, can we work on this or let's do this? It pales, in comparison to some of the stuff that you see. And one of the things it appears is just kind of like unwillingness to see a different perspective or try something new. I see often, married women, what's your best advice for single women? And I try to respond whenever I do respond, I try to respond the same way. And it's something along the lines of like, you are going to be married to your husband. If I tried to take somebody else's advice for their husband and apply it to my husband, it just would not work out. Right. There are some things I think like men, women, or black men and black women and, over this age that may apply across. But you have to realize that your person is your person and you are different probably than, whoever is giving the information. So I always try to encourage single women to like take the memes and the videos and advice and all that kind of stuff with a grain of salt. There's some stuff that is just like, okay, this might work for us, or I'm willing to give it a try. But if it doesn't, don't be discouraged about that, because you literally are learning a different person and you are a different person. And then I know we've talked about this over the course of the pod, right? Like we continue to become a different version of ourselves as we go along. So if you go from dating to marriage and then, go on. So we just celebrated 4 years of marriage, but 10 years of being together. We different. And in some ways we, maybe like, oh, I'm so glad you're different, or I like this new version. And in other ways we might be like, I didn't ask for this. Who? Who's our fault?
Right. Exactly.
Right. And sometimes there are physical changes, there are mental emotional changes. Once you start experiencing life together, or grief or loss, um making more money, making less money, getting a job, losing a job, like all these
Mhm.
kinds of things can change people. And
Yeah.
so trying to take a one size fits all approach, one is lazy, but it's
Mhm.
also very dangerous, because it's just like recipes. Honestly, you can follow
Yeah.
the instructions and still get something different than the person
Yeah.
who may have
And sometimes
created
the
a
best
recipe.
chefs cook from feel rather than instructions. And I don't knock everything as far as like social media advice, because some things can be more universally accepted, like, hey, these are good things that you could do,
Mhm.
versus if they do this it means this, right? When we start assigning intent and projecting our traumas and stuff like that. But I also think it's such a lack of focus on the person
Mhm.
versus the circumstance or the resource or whatever, because we neglect the fact, to your point, that those things can change, right?
Yeah.
So if you're focused, like, okay, there's a lot of women, oh, if you're not making this, or I saw somebody say that, like, oh, if 120 or $130 for a date is expensive to you, then dating might not be for you, buttercup. And it's like, for someone who's not paying for dates, how are you worried? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Trying to judge what should and shouldn't be spent. And we always are looking from the perspective of the beneficiary, right?
Right.
And so the standard when it comes to dating in these conversations is always from the perspective of the beneficiary, and on both sides, and that part gets annoying. So let's if we talk from the financial perspective, right? Let's
Yeah.
say, oh, he's making a certain amount of money and he can take you here and he's taking you there, and you're like, oh my god, I love this so much, and then you end up in this relationship, and then he loses that job, right? Because right
Mhm.
now we live in a very tough economy.
Yeah.
Unemployment, especially among black people, unemployment is up significantly, right? So now he doesn't have that same income, or maybe the cost of living
It's
has
different.
has gone
Mhm.
up, and he's no longer able to do what he was doing before. And now it's a
Mhm.
problem because that's what you fell in love with and not
Mm.
him, right? Like, what was it like experiencing him? What is it like when you're not in the fancy restaurants and y'all not dressed up and you're not spending 400 or 500 on dinner, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, or a concert, or traveling and taking trips, right? And so now
Yeah.
you're good. You still have your job because you was one of these ones, oh, we're not having the 50-50 conversation. You see what I'm
Mm.
saying? And you neglect what life looks like. So now you're looking to him, it's like you still got yours, but then he's not a man if you have to control, so
Mm.
you have those a lot that subscribe to different areas. And I'm not knocking anybody. Like, if there's dudes out there that can facilitate that lifestyle, and that's how they think that it should go,
Yeah.
cool. I'm not one of them. I think it's financially, emotionally, and relationally irresponsible to do that.
Yeah.
I think both people should be contributing in all facets, right? um do what works for you. But for me, I think two people building and contributing to something, you go further faster with that. But
Yeah. And so even something like that, right? And so that's why like I said, take what works for you and then toss the rest, because if it doesn't work for I don't know who it works for, but if it doesn't work for you to we're both or let me not say both contributing, maybe it just looks different, right?
mhm,
Because there are some relationships where the man is like, I don't want, and the woman is okay with not
mhm,
contributing financially. I am going to take care of whatever your needs are. Um, However, this is what's important to me, right? I want cook. I want you to look nice. I want you, whatever the situation may be in a dating relationship. And so what I encourage people to do is just like find your person. Hi, roadies and road dogs. While you're enjoying this episode, don't forget to stop and subscribe to our Patreon. For just a few dollars a month, you'll have access to episodes 48 hours in advance, plus polls, live Q&A, and reaction videos. You'll also get access to a wonderful community. So go to the website on the screen or scan the QR code. And we can't wait to see you in our Patreon community. I think we spend a lot of time talking about like what's the right way and what's the wrong way, and you should do this and you should do that. And it's like, whatever it is you like, go find somebody else that likes the same thing, and y'all live happily ever after. What we continue to see is people like, I like you, like you're aesthetically pleasing to me, and you know, I can see myself with you, you cool, so I want you to want what I want. And it's like, it doesn't work that way. It's
listen.
you may think I'm cute, but I want somebody to pay all these bills. And if you don't want to pay all these bills,
You're not a man. That's
how I feel.
Right. But
I'm
also
not for you. It doesn't mean that you're not a man. It's just I'm not for you. And so instead of getting on any of the platforms or formulating an opinion like, you know, women, all they wanted to, no, that woman, that's important to her. And you guys are not a match. But not all women feel that way, just like not all men are after.
Right. But that's also the danger of social media, right? Because here's the thing. Your algorithm is such that it will appear to be that way, right? When I tell you, my Threads algorithm is trash. Now, I'm old enough, intelligent enough to know that this is not encompassing of all women, right? However, if this is my sample group, ew. Yeah. Oh, what old girl be saying on yuck. But also it's by design. The people that run social media, they understand, and they've even said, I was watching on a documentary, there was like, you're more likely to respond something that's negative than something that's positive, right? Because you're going to argue, so it creates the engagement. But like, if I open Threads right now, it wouldn't take me 5 seconds to find a negative post about men.
That's wild. My Threads has been cool lately, thankfully.
Yeah, no, mine is like, and it's not even, it was like that when I first opened. So people like, that's what you be searching. And like, no, it isn't. I'll be going, not interested, not trying to change my algorithm because I don't want to see it. But that's just all it feeds me, right? It's like this. Also like Instagram, right? My Explore page, people like, oh, well, that's what you search. Absolutely not. Like, if you look at my likes versus my Explore page, staunchly different. I'm not on there liking ass, right? I like music, I like comedy, you know what I mean, informational stuff. But Explore page, ass, right? Like, that's what it is.
So do you go in and, well, I don't know. Let me go to my Explore page.
I'm not
my Explore page. I already know it's like
I do be
Greek
clicking
stuff.
sometime. I'll be like, ugh, right? But I don't.
It's Greek stuff. It's business stuff. Generally, and they changed the doggone.
No, I'll screen record.
It's a new topic that's on here a little more, and you probably know what that is. We'll get into that later. Yeah. But so do you engage with stuff that's on your Explore page, or do you just like, you see it and you like, no?
Yeah, I don't engage. Every now and again, I mean, if she look real good, I'll look, but I'm not commenting and
well, yeah, I'm like, I'm sure if they get you to open it, I'm trying to figure out, but also they listen. I'm sure they're listening to some of the stuff we talking about. It's it's definitely set up,
right? Like if I'm saying, oh, I need me some Gatorade, when I open my phone, now they're gonna be trying to quench my thirst. So first of all, pun intended. But that part. Yeah, it's wild out here. And I think the frustrating part is the knowledge of there's good women out there and good men out there, but yet finding that match or somebody that matches your values and somebody that likes you,
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was me and hashtag was sending stuff on Instagram. It was something you sent me, and I said something about it was talking about like women in Houston or this and the third. I was like, man, nowadays you got to scan your card to say hello.
Mm.
Like everybody just not everybody. That's the vibe. Everybody's putting a price tag on themselves. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so it just makes it hard. It's kind of disheartening. And then, we're fighting against high value this and know my worth that. And,
Yeah.
And it's like,
wild.
y'all,
I mean, I guess just I don't know how you block out the noise if it's being pushed to you, unless, if you're the type of person who would be okay with maybe a social media fast or something that kind of takes you out of that and then spending more time in the real world, if you will, like going out to meet people. I don't, some folks
having a podcast kind of
to
works against that narrative, but I get it.
Well, not you. I'm just in general. Doing that or doing, if you're on social media, it's just for that, right? Like I'm gonna, cut and post clips. I'm gonna, whatever, but I'm not necessarily on there engaging in relationship conversation or looking at, certain media or whatever the case may be and seeing if that will reset it. But for folks who are actively dating, I was just saying, like, if you remove yourself from that particular situation and spend more time with people that may more closely align with and represent what's really going on around you, I think it is hard to consider like all women aren't like this or all men aren't like this when you are seeing it all the time, but that may not necessarily be the experience, one-to-one, or if you are actively dating multiple people. So it's something to, to consider. I know, I hear people talking about being intentional and, communicating and all of that. And that's why I ask, like, when people put their expectations, their boundaries, their whatever out there to begin with, is that a way to be intentional or to communicate? And we would say yes in some instances, but it also, is like the way that you do it, right? Does that need to be the first thing that's said, or can we at least, get to know one another and determine? Because I think sometimes you don't even have to get into these things. Like just that first date might let you know you don't want a second date, and then everything else doesn't even matter.
Yeah, and I've done that like pretty often as well. It's like, so
I guess we're moving into final thoughts, huh?
Yeah.
It goes so fast.
It does. Just like most of these relationships.
Oh Lord. My Lord.
So what are your final thoughts dating after 40? Not that, I mean, I know your experience is different. We'll have to talk about marriage at 40.
Marriage at 40, right? Yeah. And maybe some of it is the same because, I feel like you have to be in a certain place to get to the marriage. And so one is just, be honest with yourself about what it is that you want and that you're willing to give. Because even though we don't want to frame it as transactional, nobody wants to date or get into a relationship or get married to only give. That's a lie. I don't know anybody. Okay. So it's not necessarily, if you spend $200 on a date for me, then, we going back to your place after. I'm not talking about that kind of transaction. But again, like, what are you bringing to the dating situation, to the relationship, to the marriage? Like, what is it that you are willing to do? And if we shift from what can I get first And I know it's like a novel and probably scary concept to thinking about what you're willing to give first. And I remember saying this to #boo like a long time ago. It was just like, if we focus on being the very best that we can be, one, for ourselves, but to one another, like, we never have to worry about like, am I being covered or are you being covered, because we're covering each other. Like, if I'm thinking about you and my actions are reflecting that I'm thinking about you, you don't have to be so starved to have to think about yourself. Well, I got to take care of me because she's never thinking about me, or I have to take care of me because he's never thinking about me. If we make it a point to show that outwardly and to be caring and kind and compassionate and the things that we want. Now, as we get into love languages and different things, maybe the things that you like and want aren't necessarily the things that they like and want, but you can start there. Like, if that's how you show love, that's what you're used to, you can at least share that. Right. And so I think when people see like, oh, wait, you're not just out to take from me, you're actually willing to give. I started cooking for my husband way early in the game. Now, to me, it wasn't like, oh, if I cook for him, this means he has to marry me and all these kinds of things. It was just something that I wanted to do to show that I cared. Like, I ain't making me no more, no less. If we didn't wind up together anymore, guess what? I'm not cooking anymore. Like, that's now, I wasn't cooking every day and all that kind of stuff, because most of we were long distance. So it was a little different. And I do think, if the expectation is, you're cooking every day and we're having sex on a regular and we're yeah, and we're not in a relationship, that's a different type of situation, right? Unless that's something that you're cool with. But I don't think,
Yes, it sounds cool to me.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, if you find somebody that's like, we good, you good. But if that's not something that you want, it's okay to express that. But it's also okay to be kind. So I'm just saying, like, don't assume a role that someone is not willing to cast you in. But also doing small things, acts of kindness doesn't automatically mean, well, you just giving away the cow. It's like, well, I just made tacos. Like, it's
Hey,
I was hungry.
Tacos are a love language. Like, what's your love language? Tacos.
So, I just think we it's like all or nothing. We don't ever think about like, showing people who you are and what kind of girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife that you would be. Like, are you even giving them the vision of what that might look like? And so many people are like, no, you just like, you need to know that you want to be with me, girl.
Right. Yeah. And
or boy.
All of it.
Bye. So that's what I would, that's what I would offer, give glimpses, yes, have your standards, have your boundaries, all of that, but be kind. Like, to be mean to somebody and then expect that they are going to want to marry you or claim you or be in an exclusive relationship with you is.
Or wondering why nobody approaches. It's like, because you're mean.
Yes. And at this age, so here's another thing. I'm gonna like, yes, at 40 plus and all of that, like, we pray that we have 40, 50 years in front of us, but the reality is for some of us, we don't. And so, doing this kind of stuff that keeps you single, if it's your desire to be in a loving relationship, I challenge you in 2026, do something different. If whatever you've been doing is not working, it doesn't mean it's wrong. I won't even get into that. But if whatever you're doing is not yielding the results that you have been looking for the past few months or years, do something different. And then come report back. Let us know.
Yeah, facts. All right, let's see. My final thought. I'll start. Okay, so I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and she asked in this conversation, she was telling me about a conversation she had with a dude that liked her, or I guess they were talking. And she was like, do men really care about do men really care if women show like they're interested, or do they feel the type of way? I was like, yeah, we want to feel the same things that you feel. We want to feel. She said, "Do men really care about feeling desired?" I was like, absolutely. Like, it was a genuine question, and so I didn't shame her for the question, but the fact that's even a question, right? Because now it's the sassy narrative. Oh, y'all want to be women so bad, And I use that example because far too often we neglect to consider another person's experience, right? When you are meeting somebody with all of your standards and what you want and what they should be doing, and taking inventory on everything they're doing for you, are you considering what you are or aren't doing for them? Like, what are you presenting? And to your point earlier, it's like, if we focused more on our offerings than our requirements, we might have better success. But we're so focused on what we can get that we don't even notice we have nothing to give. Or if we do have something to give, we can't even identify it. You know what I mean? And so I also say that in this positive speak and self-love era, and there's nothing wrong with self-love, but sometimes we delude ourselves, right? We often expect from people treatment for a version of ourselves we have not yet become, right? We want people to treat us like the person we want to be and not the person we are. Right? It's like we want people to see us as a version that has not manifested, and no one is benefiting from a future version of you. We can only go by now, right? I can't count on you being this, I can't, that's like me expecting a woman, hey, I need you to treat me like I'm a millionaire. Right? But a millionaire would probably be doing different things, like some of the same things, but at a different level. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do I treat you like a millionaire when you're not doing millionaire things? Being with a millionaire, multimillionaire, is a much different experience, I assume, right?
Yeah.
From a financial or experiential, not necessarily an emotional standpoint. But so, yeah, I say that to say, like, we put far too much value in the receiving than the giving. We don't spend enough time building ourselves and building value in ourselves, so that when someone does come, the offerings are even greater. Someone else is like, black men, what is it about a black woman that makes you want to be better? And I said, nothing, right?
Okay, I'm gonna interrupt your final thought, because I
Yeah.
tell you this all the time. I think you just be trying to go for the shock and all. I know
And
you
it's
don't mean that. Well, I know you mean that, but not in the way that it.
But when I say something
received.
like that, one, I'm not trying to. That's just how I respond. You know me long enough to know.
I
But there's
know,
also
but
something
but
after.
people don't. Everybody doesn't know you, so
Yeah, I
to
know.
say nothing.
Yeah, but
is
I'm not going
like,
to. But I'm not gonna respond in a way. Oh, well, they don't know me, so let me respond. No, I'm still gonna be me, and you'll find out when I finish saying what I'm saying.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get
so
it.
I know, because I know you know me, but I'm not worried about someone else's perception. Like, if you taken aback, whatever. But I didn't say nothing full stop. I explained why I said nothing. So it was nothing because I'm going to be the best version of myself for me. And she'll benefit from that. Like, the woman that's with me is going to benefit from the best version of me, because I don't look for extrinsic factors or people or whatever to be better. We should want to be like, so what? It's like, what do we do while we're single?
But,
then,
okay,
right?
we're gonna pause again. So, in a previous conversation, we were talking about Black women compliments, and it might not be the same thing, but it's sticking out to me. So, a Black woman complimenting, or kind of gassing or whatever, that's not an extrinsic factor.
I'm not doing it for her. I'm saying the compliment is gonna make me want to go do it more. Like if you tell me, oh, I see you muscles been working out. Yes. And I'm on record. There's nothing like the compliment of a black woman, but I'm not working out for her or for a black. I'm working out for me. I want to be healthy. I want to look good. I want to stay alive. Right. It's for me. Now, you will benefit from that. It's like if you're with me, like if you want a man to look a certain way and be in shape, hey, right? Like you're benefiting from that. You want a man like, hey, I'm trying to building wealth and blah, 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 blah. If you're with me, you're benefiting from that. I'm not doing it for you though. Right.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. Like, because I'm going to do it with or without you is what I mean.
Okay. And
right?
And you might be, I won't say you're a unicorn, but I definitely know men that do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because of women and not.
And I used to be one of them. But the problem is when you no longer have her, because even for me, any woman that I've ever changed for or whatever for, they're not here. I'm no longer with them. So now what? Do I like, hey, why are you not trying to be better, Barz? I ain't got a woman. I gotta wait. I gotta find me a black woman to be better for. Right? No, that's not how that works. So that's what I mean. I'm becoming better. I'm building value and becoming my best self because that's what I should be doing regardless. Right? So, or sometimes you don't like, you got to be better to find her. That woman that you, or man that you want might exist in the space that you haven't elevated to yet. And you haven't like the person that you want is in a different emotional bracket, a different tax, whatever. So you say you desire this, but you haven't become the person that's eligible for that person yet. Right. So I can't, that's still not doing it for. It's like, hey, I need to do this regardless. Right. And when I find her, like, hey, look what you get. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I want her to feel just as lucky as I feel having her, because if I'm choosing her, I think she's dope. I think she's whatever. And I'm going to feel lucky, and I want her to have that same experience. So I'm going to continue to improve myself, but I'm going to do it without her anyway. So, that's what I mean by that. It's not a shot at black women like, oh, black women aren't work. Like, no, it's like, you should do that anyway. You know what I mean? Okay. So, but also I'm not going to require of her treatment or viewing me as somebody who I've not yet become. See me for who I am. And if you rock with that, great. If you don't rock with that, if I'm not enough for you, that has to be okay. It might sting a bit, you know what I'm saying? That's not great for the ego, but that's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just consider the other person's experience, consider the person versus what the person has, right? Or what the person does for you. Create an experience for the person, and the person's going to create an experience for you, right? That we should be looking to have this exchange versus this extraction, and I feel like that's what a lot of dating is now. So, well, y'all, that is dating over 40. We'll probably have to do a recap and have, because this one is
have a lot of these.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of these because there's so many layers and perspectives, and they're not all negative. I know this one was kind of like just the experience of it. We'll come back with some tips, some success stories, and all of that other stuff.
Yeah, and as we have guests, maybe we can just ask them because they're in the age group that we're. Well, many of them will be like, what's your experience been? Or, what do you think of? Because some people may be married. Like, what do you think about the state of
dating today?
But I will say, like, I don't hear anything positive. So I'm looking for, right? If you're watching this episode,
if you got a positive experience, let us know. Because listen, please. It's
I'm shout out to the Addisons. I think they might have been, and they were already married by the time we talked to them.
Yeah. No. Like, wait.
Yeah, because they were the Addisons.
Yeah. No, they were newlyweds. They were newlyweds. So now they years in and on baby number 2.
Yay!
You know what I mean?
Love to hear it.
So
Crossroad stories, and some folks that we've interviewed are not
no longer. Yeah. There's that part. So, you know, it's tough. It's tough out here. You know,
It is. It
one day
is.
I'll have a story, but like, hey, y'all, guess what?
Yeah, we need to have us a little series.
You know what? You know what part I hate? It's like most of the chicks. I'm acting like we're not on the air. Most of the
I
women,
was like,
yeah. That was me and Dre off air. Most of the lovely ladies that you know express interest or like they out of state, and I'm being so pissed. Some of them wait till I move to be like, oh my god, like I've ma'am.
yeah, I hear you.
So that's a rough one, but we'll pick it up, y'all. We'll
People
do.
can relocate. You know, I know that's not. It may not be your desire. Doesn't mean that the young lady won't.
I'll say
either,
that
so.
I have told somebody, if you ever found yourself in the same city, we're gonna have a conversation. I've said that.
Okay.
Whether that happens or not, you know, so I'm not putting it. I'm not saying, hey, you gotta move, but I also don't want to do long distance. But I'm like, if we end up in the same place at the same time and we both available, a conversation is to be had.
Okay. Well,
so you know, it is what it is.
Well, whether the relocation or whether you meet someone that is currently in the location that she needs to be, though, after visiting, and as big as that place is, it could still feel like long distance, and they could still be in the same city.
People are very much in the same city and still geographically undesirable.
Yeah, I'm like,
because I live in a part of town where nobody likes to visit.
It's,
you know, they're like, you live where? They were like,
it's vast.
It's 600 square miles.
Yeah,
is this city, and
amen.
Yeah. But we'll do. Listen, we're gonna come up with different variations of the dating conversation. We have to, because y'all love it. I love talking about it. You know, the grim, the positive, all of that stuff.
Yes.
But we have to wrap this one up. So this has been another episode of The Crossroads. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, always remember, be
free to be you.
We'll see y'all next week.
See you next time.
This has been The Crossroads Podcast. And remember, be free to be you.